Okay, so I think we are going live. Um, Hopefully, this is my first time doing lives, so I guess I'll see if it actually works. Oh, yes, I see somebody saying hi. That's great. I was just gonna say, I'm so used to kind of doing live presentations and being able to see everybody's faces, so it's so different being here and just seeing myself on the screen. So yes, please say hello so I know that I'm not alone. So hi Kokeb, thanks for joining. Okay, so let's get started. For those of you who don't really know me much, my name is Ursula Samerda. I am a mom to two really amazing, adventurous, and also wild boys. And I'm also a pediatric occupational therapist. And for the last 18 years, I have worked both in clinic settings and school settings, and worked with a wide range of children with different types of challenges and disabilities. And hi, Tanya, thank you for joining us. Um, Now, I started my professional journey in Australia, and that's where when I'm originally from. And then around 10 years ago, me and my husband have decided to move here to the Bay Area in California. Now, while being in the US, I've also had the opportunity to venture out and do some work in Colorado, another beautiful state. Now, in Colorado, I worked in the Star Center, and I got a chance to work with Dr. Lucy Jane Miller and they absolutely amazing team. And for those of you who don't know much about Star Center, it's a premier treatment clinic for children and now also adults who have sensory processing disorders. So I got a chance to kind of do the mentorship program there. I did a fellowship there and also had the pleasure of developing the first summer camps. Yay! So wonderful experience. Currently, I work here in the Bay Area in the schools, and I'm also the author of the Sensory Lifestyle blog. Now, I started my blog around 6 years ago when my first child was born, and mainly because as an occupational therapist, I was getting a lot of questions from all the new mummies, and many of them were feeling anxious and nervous. They wanted to do what was needed for the kiddos to help them develop, but weren't really sure how and what to play and what were the good activities for what ages. So that's why I decided to do the blog. I really felt like I wanted to reach um, more parents, and I wanted to give them more research-based information. And I guess what I wanted to do is show them that when you know what kind of play experiences you should do with your kids, it can really help the development, and then you can feel more confident as a parent. You spend your time wisely on play that matters. And as a parent myself, I know how time is just so little of that time we have. So when we do get the chance to play with our kiddos, then you want to make sure that you do things that really matter. And through play, the kids can develop all those great foundational skills, which really will help them, when they do start school. Now, as a school therapist currently, I do see a lot of kids struggling with a lot of those foundational skills. And then when it comes to learning and listening to your teacher, they really kind of struggle because their brain is focusing on those kind of foundational skills. I mean, for example, I had a kiddo who was referred to me because he was struggling at school, and he was observed to having a really hard time being able to stay in his seat. He would frequently fall out of his chair. He would have a hard time focusing to what the teacher was saying. He had problems with fine motor skills, with gross motor skills. I mean, as a kindergartner, he would still hold his pencil in like a fisted grasp. And this is really, developmental appropriate for like, your 1 or 2 year olds. So being holding a pencil like this doesn't really give you much movement in your hand to be able to, form those letters, correctly and all those pre-writing shapes. And he was struggling with all those kind of pre-writing shapes, writing. When on the playground, he would um, he would have a hard time getting onto the playground structures. He just didn't know where his body was. And if you think about a kiddo like this, where he's, all those skills, needed to write, to keep balance when sitting, to knowing where your body is in space, all those skills kind of were not, not working very well. So how is this kiddo supposed to be focusing and what the teacher's teaching him and all those higher learning things where his body is just not doing what it's supposed to do? And I guess this is not a single case example. I have a lot of kiddos who do struggle at school. And I guess what I did is I prepared a little picture because I'm a visual learner, so I like to have some props. So I wanted to kind of show you this to kind of explain a little bit what I'm saying. So when we're in school, right, we use, to kind of learn, do the big thinking, the problem solving, all of that. We usually use the cerebrum, which is kind of the big part of our brain. Now, the foundational skills that help us have a body, knowing where our body is in space, knowing, keeping your balance, being able to regulate your attention on what's important, developing your fine motor skills, your gross motor skills, all those things, they happen through integrating reflexes, through, appropriately processing all the sensory information, because all of these things, they build the foundations and then they build on being able to build those complicated tasks. So like our kiddo, who was falling out of the chair, had difficulty attending and couldn't, hold his pencil right. All those skills, most of them really get processed in the lower parts of the brain, so kind of in the cerebellum, and in the brainstem. So what I do is, as an occupational therapist, I help kiddos, kind of help integrate all those reflexes and look at the sensory system and how those internal body senses and external senses are working together to be able to process information, develop those foundational skills, such as, being able to attend to what the teacher's saying, maintain that balance and body awareness when you're sitting, your eyes being able to even work well, and how you're able to hold those pencils, how you're able to manage those playground structures. All those things, kind of, we want to be building great, kind of connections through the lower part of the brain here. So when it does come to the big problem-solving learning skills in school, the kids don't have to really focus and spend all the brain processing at the lower parts of the brain, because, if you have to think about how to hold your pencil and how to make those letters, then you're not really paying attention to what you're supposed to be writing or whatever the teacher is still teaching you. And that's what we really want our kiddos to be able to, when they're in school, being able to not worry about all these foundational skills and just really focus on what the teacher is teaching you. So I guess that's kind of me. That's what I do as an occupational therapist. And that is also what I want to be doing here in the Sensory Lifestyle, hoping that I've already been doing that. If this is something that, gosh, oh my gosh, this is so exactly what I want, please keep coming back to Sensory Lifestyle. And I do also have a little favor. I've developed a quick survey. It's seriously like 8 questions, so it shouldn't take you more than a couple of minutes to complete. But the answers to these questions will really help me figure out what you need and what are the kind of challenges that you are going through, so that when you do come to Sensory Lifestyle, I'm able to give you everything that you need and you're able to, find your answers to your questions. So I will be posting that link in the comments once I'm done. and I might even post like a little separate post on my Facebook page. So please take a moment to complete this. I would really appreciate your feedback, and it will help me help you guys, right? Um, Now, I want to come back next week and talk to you guys a little bit more about the pre-writing shapes. I guess I wanted to kind of mention, why the pre-writing shapes are so important, why we want to kind of focus even on them before we even start all our writing stuff. But yes, I'm hoping to do this same place, same time next week. Then obviously there's so many other things that I want to talk to you guys about, all the sensory processing and the whole sensory lifestyle, and choosing the right play activities. So many things to talk about. If there's anything specific that you are also wanting to know about, please leave it in the comments. I'll read it. But again, also look out for the questionnaire, which I'll post after this is done. But yes, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for coming. Um, Oh, yay. I see some more comments. I realize that I can scroll down here. Hi, Melody and Kokep. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yes, reflex integration is great. And also, if you want to find out more about reflex integration, Kokep is also doing a lot of great work with reflex integration. But yes, so thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Yay, my first live. I'm excited. Yes, hopefully you guys enjoyed. You got to know a little bit more about me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. All right, take care. Have an awesome day. Bye, everybody.